Hey guys, it's Jen Lefforge. Welcome to my channel. I am so glad that you are here today. If this is your first time here, I'm so glad you came. Please consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification so you'll get updates whenever I post a new video. And if you've been around for a while, welcome back. I am so grateful for you guys. And really, this video came out of requests that I got from you. You all had heard me talk about my grown-up gap year, and you really wanted to know, what is it? How did I come up with the idea, and what does it look like? And so I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna devote a whole video just to the grown-up gap year. So number one, a gap year is when a student, typically a high school student or a college student, takes a year off after completing a course of study to kind of decide what they want to do with their life. They can do some self-reflection, there's usually travel involved, and at the end of that year, they have a little bit more clarity about the next phase of their lives. Well, as a lot of moms who have just emptied their nest, I found myself in that same situation. I had a very long-standing career. I've been working for 25 years, and I knew that I didn't want to continue doing what I had been doing in the past, but I really didn't know what I wanted to do next. And I was familiar with the concept of a sabbatical because I was a pastor for 10 years, and I really had, well, I only had one sabbatical, but I gained so much from those 3 months that I had off that I thought, wow, what would that look like to take an entire year or maybe even a little more, and as a grown-up to explore, to travel, to do new things, to challenge myself on a whole new level. And is that something that I could really do? So I would say Scott and I started talking about it about 2 years ago. And of course, he is the kind of guy that is very supportive of anything that I want to do. And since he, as a pilot, has been traveling for years, he's traveled internationally, he's seen so many things, he was the first one to say, you should go and do this. So we worked out the financial piece of it, which is a big chunk, right? Because we just put 3 boys in college. So putting 3 kids in college and then saying that I wasn't gonna have a consistent income and I was gonna be spending money took some trickery, and we did have to dig into some long-term savings. But the thought there was, well, if we wait until we retire and then we travel, who knows how you're gonna feel? Who knows if you're gonna be sick, if you're gonna be able to go and travel? Maybe you'll be caring for elderly parents. I didn't know what the next phase of my life was gonna be, but I knew that I was ready for a break. I knew that I had more freedom than I had had. You know, our oldest is 22. So I was looking at the most freedom I'd had in 22 years, and it was time. It was time for me to go and explore and see what it is that I wanted to do with the next chapter of my life. So the first step, of course, was figuring out if schedule-wise we could even do it, and financially, could we even do it? Could we really afford for me not to work at all for at least a year? And we sat down, looked at it, and decided that yes, that we have been very conservative spenders for our entire 29-year marriage. We have spent our money well, we have invested our money well, we don't live beyond our means. And so the first question was, is this something we can afford to do? And the answer was, very surprising to me, yes, this is something we can afford to do. So then the next question was, am I ready to quit my job? Am I ready to walk away from something that is, you know, there's something to be said for that automatically deposited paycheck every couple of weeks. And the more I thought about it, I knew I didn't want to keep doing what I was doing. So the answer was yes, I can step away from my job. So could we afford it financially? Could I step away from my job? And then the third question was, can I really be away from home that much? I mentioned my husband's a pilot, he travels. Thankfully, one of our boys is currently living here while he finishes up his degree. So I had a house sitter, I had someone that could take care of the dogs, I had someone that could keep an eye on things. I mean, especially if you're gonna be a vlogger and talk about being out of the country all the time, you better have somebody that can stay in your house. And we have a great security system and all of those things. So, okay, so practically, yes, I think that I can do this. So really then the only question was, did I have the guts, right? Did I have the nerve to go out, and especially since I would be traveling alone because Scott can't get that, kind of time off of work. So I started planning. And if you've been following the vlog, you know that has meant a lot of trips to Florida. It's meant a trip to Paris. On Sunday, I'm leaving for London. In December, I'll be headed off to Germany and Slovakia and Austria. And It has been the thrill of my life. So not only do I have all these amazing trips coming up, but I've had the space and the time to plan for the trips, to go on the trips, to start this YouTube channel, which I never would have had the time to do. The learning curve with this YouTube channel has been pretty steep, and without the time and space to develop it, it was one of those things that I always kind of wanted to do, but I never really had the time to dig in and learn about. I mean, I'd never done editing, I'd never done filming, any of that kind of thing. So it's been an enormously rewarding time in my life, and we're only about halfway done. So I've had people ask, oh, how do I do this? What does this look like? The big thing everybody always says is, I want to be you when I grow up. And I want to say, you can be me when you grow up. If you plan for this, I was just chatting with a mom in the comment section who's like, I have little kids at home. This is something I dream of doing one day. Then plan for it, right? It's like anything in life. If you plan early enough and you set aside the money, and you have to kind of think through the nerve it takes to go and travel on your own and see new places. This Paris trip, and I'll put a link here if you want to go look at some of the things I got myself into there, was not without challenges, but I really learned that I am capable of traveling alone. I am capable of getting through international airports. I am capable of, being aware of my surroundings in a busy international city. There were practical things. I went ahead and, got my passport redone. I became a known traveler, which is a fantastic thing if you plan on traveling a lot internationally. It just gets you through security that much quicker. I've loved doing that. I started stalking Expedia, and it's amazing the last minute deals you can take advantage of when you have all of this time. I've been able to take advantage of invitations from friends, like my friend Coral, who was like, hey, it's very last minute. Can you come to Florida with me? And I can just say yes, because I don't have any other requirements on my time. The other thing that I really wanted to be sure that I didn't do was fill my schedule with a lot of volunteer and extra activities. Those are things that I've always done in my life. I've always been very active, but I knew for this year I wanted to be a little selfish, and I wanted it to be able to be about me doing what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. I've been married 29 years. I've been a mom for 22 years. You don't get that opportunity very often, and it won't last forever. So I'm really fighting the urge to get involved with a few things that I'm very passionate about, and I will get involved with again. But right now, for this year, my time is my own, and it has been a pure delight. Some of the pitfalls have been, I do struggle at times with the fact that I'm basically just spending money right now. I do make a little bit of money from the YouTube channel, but it's certainly not, enough to pay for all of my traveling or even for my equipment or the lights that I'm using right now or anything like that. So it has felt, as a woman especially, I think it's very hard sometimes to be this selfish, but I look at it as an investment. It's an investment in the future me, because I feel like at the end of this time, I'm going to have more clarity about what I want the last chapter of my life to look like. And it's also an investment in being the most fulfilled that I can be. And that's really when I can be my best self. And that's when I bring my best self to the table, whether that's as a volunteer position, in a work position, whatever may come next. I've had a lot of people say, aren't you concerned vocationally that this is going to put you behind, and that when you go to get another job that you're going to have a hard time? And I will say I've had a couple of conversations, and I know as myself, as someone who used to employ a lot of people, I think it's a plus. I think that anytime you take time for self-development and to discover more about the world, you become an asset to a company, not a liability. So I think as long as you present it to, I have on my LinkedIn page right now, currently on sabbatical. This is an intentional time. I didn't just fall into this, and no, I'm not just being lazy all day. I'm intentionally investing in myself, in travel, and in experiencing things that I've always wanted to experience. So have you ever heard of a grown-up gap year? Is it something that you've dreamed of doing? Whether you're a man or a woman, whether you're 18 or 48, whether you live in London or Ireland or the US or Saudi Arabia or wherever you're living right now, is this something that you've always wanted to do? I would love to hear from you below. What could you see being some of the things that would be challenging for you? I hope if this is a dream that you've always had, that you can find the resources to make it happen. And I look forward to sharing more of my adventures with all of you. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.